Hey everyone, it's triplemangothreat. Today we're talking about lands you should be playing but aren't. Let's jump right into it. So what are the lands you should be playing? We normally play lands that enter tapped. They enter tapped, gain us a life, and they happen to be a gate card. Now I wouldn't recommend these cards unless you had nothing else to add, but right now the temples or the lands that enter and you're able to scry, those are really cheap right now. You can get, I believe, all of them less than $1 and most of them at 50 cents. So instead of playing Tranquil Cove, Azorius Guildgate, Meandering River, you can play Temple of Enlightenment. It enters tapped, but we get to scry one instead of gaining one life, or it just happens to be a gate. So this is a great card to replace any of those lands that just enter tapped. When it comes to fetch lands, we don't have to pay $20 for one card. We can pay less than $1 for each of them with cards like Esper Panorama. This is a great card if we're playing Esper, which is white, blue, black. We can pay one, sack it. We can get a basic plains, island, or swamp and put it on the battlefield tap. Warped Landscape, when it enters, we can already tap it for colorless, or if we need an actual basic land, we can pay to tap it to get that basic, put on the battlefield tap. Floodplain, we don't have to pay $20 for Flooded Strand, which it does enter the battlefield untapped. We can tap it, pay one, sack Flooded Strand, get a plains or an island, and put it on the battlefield. What's great about Floodplain is it does enter tapped, but we can sack it, we can get a plains or an island, and put it on the battlefield. So same thing, it's just going to work a turn later. This is a great fetch budget option. Now onto the other lands I want to mention, Glimmer Void. At the beginning of the end step, if you control no artifacts, sacrifice Glimmer Void. Even if we didn't control any artifacts, we can still tap it for 1 mana of any color. But if you're an artifact deck and you're not playing this land, I really recommend it. It was recently reprinted, so the price is going to be a little lower than it should be. Alchemist Refuge. We can tap it to get one colorless, which is okay, or we can pay a green and a blue, tap it. You may cast non-land cards this turn as though they had flash. You know how Vidalcan Orrery is like a $30, $40 card? Well, imagine having that ability on a land, so it's a lot harder for it to get removed, and we can always do this in response to something. Crypt of Agene. It enters the battlefield tapped, we can tap it for a black mana, or we can pay to tap it, add black to your mana pool for each black creature card in your graveyard. So you know Cabal Coffers, how it gives you a black for each swamp you control? Well, imagine doing this in your graveyard deck. For each black creature in your graveyard, you get 1 black mana. Arcane Lighthouse. You can tap it for a colorless, or we can pay 1 and tap it until end of turn. Creatures your opponents control lose hexproof and shroud, and can't have hexproof or shroud. So you know that green creature of theirs that gives all their creatures hexproof? Yeah, not anymore. And this is just for 1 mana, and we can do this multiple times. And again, it's harder for this card to be removed because it's a land. So unless they are land destruction or they have anything like that, we're going to get away with this each turn. Command Beacon. This got another reprint in Commander Legends. We can tap, sack it, put our commander into our hand from the command zone. This means we don't have to pay commander tax anymore. And if this is put in a deck that loves to bring permanents from our graveyard back to the battlefield, we can do this every time and never have to pay commander tax. Cabal Stronghold. Cabal Coffers, but a little bit more expensive mana-wise. We can pay 3, tap it, get a black for each basic swamp you control. So it's a little more confined because it has to be a basic when it comes to the swamps. Teleria West. This took really big price drop. So it enters the battlefield tapped. We can tap it for a blue, or we can transmute for 1 blue blue. We can discard it, search our library for a card with converted mana cost 0, reveal it, put it into our hand, and then shuffle our library. We can only play this as a sorcery, but still, any card with 0 CMC. This doesn't have to be just artifacts. There's actually cards that are 0 CMC. This could be a land. It could be some weird sorcery spell. You just gotta be a little creative with these budget lands. Next, we're talking about Hall of Mist. So the updated text is, it has a cumulative upkeep of 1 mana. So every upkeep we have to pay an additional 1 mana to keep this on our battlefield. Creatures that attack during their controller's last turn can't attack. You know, that horrible player with all the Eldrazi's? Yeah, they can't attack this turn because they attacked us last turn. This is a very powerful card, and I've never seen it played in my playgroup. Glacial Chasm. So cumulative upkeep of 2 life, so we pay 2 life, the next upkeep 4, 6, and so on. When it comes into play, sack a land. Creatures you control can't attack, but prevent all damage that would be dealt to you. So if we have some silly way to have everyone lose but us, this is a great card to delay everyone from dealing us damage. Riptide Laboratory. We can tap it, add 1 mana to our mana pool, or we can pay 1 and a blue, return target wizard you control to its owner's hand. This can protect our wizards if we're wizard tribal, can protect our commander, like Braids or Quain, which is a rabbit wizard. So this is a really cool card to have even if we want ETBs. Ghost Town. If you're a Lands Matter deck, I would really recommend this one. So we can tap it for 1 colorless, which is okay, but we can pay 0, return Ghost Town to its owner's hand. Use this ability only during another player's turn. So what this means is we can play it, we can return it to our hand during someone else's turn right before we get to our turn, so we always have a land to drop. We'll get landfall triggers, or if you play Borborygmos, we can always have a land to our hand to deal someone 3. This is a great card if you're a Lands Matter deck. Safe Haven. It's a little wordy, but stick with me here. We can pay 2, remove target creature we control from the game. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may sack Safe Haven. If you do, return each card removed from the game with Safe Haven to play under its control. So we're going to get ETB triggers from this land, so if you're playing in a deck that doesn't really have the colors to do ETBs, this is a great card to have. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this lands you should be playing but aren't. And while you're at it, it's really cold this winter, so you gotta pick up a TMT hoodie. It's on sale right now for $29.99. Stay warm this winter and represent the Mango family. Make sure to like this video, comment, and subscribe for more Mango content. I'll see you all in the next one. Pepperoni.